Welcome back to Dr. Scott's Maths Made Simple, Graphs number 2 or episode 2, where we're going to talk about straight lines on graphs. At the end of my last video, I mentioned to you that you can have a straight line on a graph, and the straight line can be either rising up to the right, in other words with a positive slope, or it can be falling away to the right. That's a negative slope. There are only two formulae you need to remember for lines on graphs, straight lines on graphs. Y equals mx plus c, and m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Let me explain this. X and y are any point, any coordinates on the line, on the straight line. They can be 8 and 6 or 0 and 2 in this case. M is the slope of the line, so that tells us whether it's rising or falling. It also tells us how fast it's rising or falling. C is the y-intercept, so y equals mx plus c. Y equals m times x plus c. C is the y-intercept, so it's where the straight line crosses the y-axis. So if we can work out the slope of this line using this formula, because if you notice with this line, we actually know what the y-intercept or c is. It's 2, because that's where it crosses the y-axis. So in this case, we're lucky, we've been given the y-intercept. So we can know y, we can know x, and we can know c. Therefore, we can work out m, because there's only one unknown. Let me show you how. So I'm going to work out the slope of this line. So I know that y equals mx plus c. Let's take a point on this line. Let's take 8 and 6. So that we'll take this point. So the y is 6. M we don't know. X is 8. So m times 8 and plus c. C in this case is 2, the y-intercept. So plus 2. So we have 6 equals 8m plus 2. Let's subtract 2 from both sides. Whatever we do to one side, we need to do to the other side. So subtract 2 from both sides to get rid of this 2 on this side. So we subtract 6 minus 2 equals m times 8 plus 2 minus 2, which of course they cross out. 2 minus 2 is 0. So 6 minus 2 is 4 equals 8m. So we want to find m, so let's divide both sides now by 8. So 4 divided by 8 equals m. Now most times the maths teachers at school or university, they'll want you to get fractions into the lowest possible denominator and numerator. So 4 on 8, if we divide the top and the bottom by 4, we see it's 1 on 2, or a half. So the slope of this line is a half, but not only that, it's a positive half. It's rising up to the right. So from our original formula, y equals mx plus c, we've worked out what m is, the slope of the line. It's positive a half, or positive 0.5. But then sometimes you won't be so lucky. Sometimes they can be tricky, the teachers, and they won't give us C, the y-intercept. And they'll still expect us to work out the slope of the line. So let's pretend we don't have this point. We think it might be 0, 2, but we're not sure. And let's say we're only given one other point. We're always given 2 points on a line, and it comes through and it crosses here. You can see where it crosses. It crosses at -4, 0, where -4 is the x on the x-axis and 0 on the y-axis. So this point is -4, 0, and this point is 8, 6. It's still exactly the same line, but we don't know for sure. We don't know for sure that it's crossing exactly at 0, 2. And they say, okay, work out the slope of this line. Now last time when we worked it out, remember the slope was 0.5. Now this is the formula we can use if we only know 2 y's and 2 x's of a straight line. We can work out the slope, which is m. Remember, m equals slope, c equals y-intercept. So we've got an x and a y, we've got another x and a y. This is x1 and this is y1. This is x2, y2. So x1, y1, x2, y2. It always goes to the right. So on the right are the x2, y2. So the formula says, well, slope m equals y2 minus y1 on x divided by x2 minus x1. Well, that equals y2 is 6 minus y1. y1 is 0 divided by x2, which is 8, minus x1, which is -4. So it's minus 4. Now when you minus a number, you plus it, because the minuses cancel out. So that equals 6 minus 0, which is 6, over 8 plus 4, which equals 6 over 12. And you can see that that also equals 1/2, because if we divide the top and the bottom by 6, we get, divide 6 by 6, it's 1. Divide 6 into 12, it's 2. So we get exactly the same answer. So you can see that the slope of this line remains exactly the same. It's still positive 1/2. So the next thing they would say to you, or they might say to you, is, okay, so you've worked out the slope. Where does it cross the y-axis? Where's the y-intercept? So we know the slope is 1/2. So in that case, we've worked out m, we got a couple of y's, we got a couple of x's. We need to know c, where they're asking you, where does it cross the y-axis? Well, we start with our formula, y equals mx plus c. Let's take 8, 6 again. It doesn't matter which point on the graph you take, it'll always be the same. So y in this case is 6 equals 1/2 times, half is m, the slope, times x, which is 8, plus c. So there's only one unknown here, it's c, the y-intercept. So we keep going, 6 equals 1/2 times 8, which is 4, plus c. Let's take 4 from both sides. So let's subtract 4 from both sides. So 6 minus 4 equals 4 minus 4 plus c. 6 minus 4 is 2. 2 equals 4 minus 4 is 0 plus c. So therefore, anything plus 0 is itself. So 2 equals c. And you can see that that is the y-intercept. It crosses at 0, 2, the y-intercept. So we've now worked out c, because we worked out m first of all with this formula. Alright, that's probably enough today. It's fairly heavy stuff. I hope that helps a bit, and don't forget to smile. Give someone a smile, it makes a big difference. Thank you. Bye.